Hi guys, it's Madison Hagler here with another dorm room review video. In this review, it will be False Anchors Volume 2 by Ryan Schlutz. If you don't have Volume 1 or haven't heard about it, you can check it out here on this channel or you can check it out on the Magic Cafe. The reviews for it were incredible. It sold out extremely fast. This is Volume 2. I believe there's going to be like 5 or 6 of these, and I am so excited because everyone I've read so far, only 2, but they've both been full of incredible, powerful, practical magic. I just want to start off with the looks of this. You'll notice that it is beautifully printed. Whoever Ryan gets to print this, I think he uses a local printer in Florida, but it's beautifully done. All of the colors in this book are so vibrant. The pictures inside are so vibrant, and in every title page there's always another little picture, very vibrant colored picture that sort of introduces the effect. And I love this because it sort of makes the whole book sort of read like a magazine, and that makes it fun to read, and it also keeps the interest level high, and it's just pretty. Let's just be honest, it looks great. I can't say much more about the quality. It is top quality. Now let's get into the effects inside, because that's what really matters, right? It starts off with an introduction where Ryan sort of reintroduces the ideas of false anchors and what a false anchor is, which I'm not going to go into too in depth, but essentially it's the idea of doing something subtle that leaves a different impression in the spectator's head than what actually happened. So they'll remember it differently and stronger than how it actually was, which is a great concept. The book starts off with equifinality, which is, I think, my favorite effect from the book. In essence, equifinality is you go through a deck of cards, you remove a prediction, and you put this prediction inside of the card box. The cards are then shuffled by the spectator, thoroughly shuffled, and you split the deck into 12 to 14 piles. So you have 2 spectators helping you out, and they each have 6 or 7 piles in front of them. They then shuffle their piles in any random order that they want. They can genuinely shuffle them together however they'd like until you end up with 1 pile in front of each spectator. And you inform them this pile is going to be the value pile and this pile is going to be the suit pile. Okay, so whatever card ends up on top over here, that's the value. Whatever card ends up on top over here, that's the suit. You turn them both over and you get a random card, you know, the 10 of spades or whatever it may be. Let's say we have the 10 of hearts over here and the 2 of spades over here, then obviously that makes the 10 of spades. And then, incredibly, you show that card in the box, you remove it, and it is the 10 of spades, the one card that was just randomly created out of the 12 to 14 piles that were on the table. It doesn't get much cleaner than that. It feels so fair, and it's completely impromptu. Shuffle deck of cards, there's not enough good things I can say about it. It is a fooler. I know if I had seen it, I would have been fooled. It reminds me of a few things, which I'm not going to mention because it may sort of tip the method, but it reminds me of a few things, but amped up, taken to a whole new level, which really makes it feel impossible. And all of these have great photos that help you along the way to kind of show you what the process should look like. There are some further thoughts which talk about doing this impromptu, and then even further thoughts, additional thoughts, which take it to a little bit of a stronger effect, but honestly it's not enough of a change from me to go through the trouble that is suggested, especially for laymen. They won't know the difference. Then we come to the second routine in the book called Forget to Remember. Forget to Remember is a spectator goes through a deck, they select a card, they look at it, they remember it, they then change their mind, they change their card. You can wave your hand or snap your fingers over the deck, whatever your magic move is. At that point, they can spread through the deck in their own hands, and their card has now vanished from the deck, the one they just changed to. And then you show that that card has been the one card that was removed from the deck from the very beginning. The one card that was removed from the deck. It is so good. Again, it's another fooler. I don't know if it's a magician fooler. I think the only reason it's not a magician fooler, in my opinion, is because there are other effects on the market that use a similar principle. If I had seen it, I would have been like, okay, I totally get what's happening here. However, Ryan has made it super clean. I can't say too much about it. Basically, a lot of other people in these kind of routines use wallets and cards with writing on the back, like off by 1 or something to that effect. But Ryan has eliminated all of that so that it's very, very, very clean. It doesn't get any cleaner than what Ryan is suggesting in the book. It's a great routine. Ryan says he ends his close-up sets doing this routine, and I believe him, because from a layman's perspective, it really doesn't get much cleaner than this. And you really have to look at this routine from a layman's perspective and not a magician's perspective because of our vast knowledge of principles and methods that we have in our disposal. But yeah, from a layman's point of view, this is a fantastic routine. It's fooled my girlfriend. You know, I do the girlfriend test on all of these effects, and all of these effects passed with flying colors. They also passed a magician test. I have a magician friend that I showed all of these routines in the book to, and they all fooled him. Literally, every one of the effects fooled him, which is a big statement because he's very knowledgeable in magic. Anyway, the next routine is called Somewhat Touched, and it's based on the Bill Simon dealing procedure that was popularized through an effect called Untouched by Darl. In essence, a deck is shuffled. The performer removes a card, puts it into the card box. They deal some cards down from top, middle, bottom, wherever they want. They deal that pile into 2 piles, and then they turn over the top cards. And in the original, the performer says this card will be the suit, this card will be the value, turn them over. That's going to be our card, and that's the one you predicted. However, Ryan has added a subtlety here, which amps this whole effect up to a whole new level and gives it a different feeling for the spectator. It really does create a different feeling of when the moment happens. So, in Ryan's routine, they turn the top cards over of their 2 piles that are left, and then you tell them, we're going to use one of the suits from one of these cards and the value from one of these cards. You get to decide which suit we use and which value we use. So now the spectator gets to choose. So let's say the 10 of hearts comes up and the 2 of spades comes up. I think that's what I used earlier. So it can either be the 10 of spades or it can be the 2 of hearts. So the spectator gets to make that decision. And no matter what they choose, you take the card that you put in the box from the very beginning, you fairly show it, and it is their selected card that they just created. This really does, this additional subtlety that Ryan's added in suggesting to put into this, really does take this effect to a whole new level. It gives it almost a rub that happens before the predictions are revealed, which is a very positive rub in the magic field, because the original effect kind of feels like, okay, that was random, that was impossible. Oh yeah, I'm satisfied that was random. Oh wow, yeah, that's the card. This one does something different because they know that all that's random, and then when you say you have a choice, they're thinking right now, oh my god, I get to choose. There's no way that he's going to have known what choice I'm going to say. Okay, wait, which one do I choose? Do I choose that one? Which one do I think he chose? Because I'm going to try to choose the one he didn't think, and it gets their brain firing at the possibility that you've already predicted what choice they're about to make. The conscious choice at the end of an unconscious procedure really takes it to a whole new level. I will never perform this effect the old way after seeing this version. I will only perform this version, and I mean that. I've never been too fond of the other effect, but that added subtlety takes it to a whole new level. Next up, we come to a method. Actually, it's not an effect, it's a method called Counterpoint, which is genius. So a card is freely selected, lost back on the deck. The deck is then handed out to 3 or 4 people in the audience that split up, and they all shuffle the cards. They exchange cards with each other, they shuffle cards. You're completely hands off, nothing palmed in your hands or anything to that effect. You gather the cards, shuffle them all back together, put them down on the table, and at this point, the magician knows exactly where the selected card is. Crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I've seen some similar principles used, but Ryan's added a lot of subtleties here, which really take this to a whole new level. It can be done semi-impromptu if the performer wants to shuffle one of the packets, but it's super, super fair because Ryan's added subtlety, which allows you to hand out all of the deck, so that the deck is completely out of the performer's hands, and yet you still know literally the exact location of the selected card. So good, so good. But that's just a method, right, that can be used for multiple effects. Any effect where you need to control a selection to a specific point in a deck, you can use that as principle for. But Ryan goes on to provide a routine for you called Card at Any Sum. And he starts off the routine by actually explaining a different effect. And this other effect he explains, which you can perform by itself, is you take 5 sugar packets and you write the numbers 1 through 10 on these sugar packets, 1 on each side. The spectator gathers them, you turn away, the spectator shakes the sugar packets, throws them on the table, and then adds up the random numbers that they've gotten. And you can immediately turn and face them and tell them the exact number they're thinking of. They can get rid of the packets on the table or whatever, and then you can tell them the exact number they're thinking of. And so Ryan applies that principle with the counterpoint principle to give you one of the fairest card at any number routines you've ever seen. It doesn't use sugar packets, it uses playing cards that are glued back to back so that you have a value ace through 10. And I actually use real number cards, 1 through 10. But again, they're double-sided, and it involves them taking envelopes and mixing them and turning them over so that they're deciding the orientation of these. They take the cards out, add up the number. After they've all shuffled the deck, 4 people shuffle the cards, they count down to the exact number, and it is their selected card that was freely chosen. It's a really, really, really good any card at any number routine. It feels so fair. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to get any fairer than that. It's really good stuff. Then we come to the one effect in the book, which I wasn't too fond of. It's called Spring Location. So in essence, 3 cards are selected. They're lost back in the deck. you wrap a rubber band around the deck. You hold the deck horizontally like this, and then you shake the deck, and a selected card, one of the selected cards, appears vertically in the horizontal deck. So it actually comes out perpendicular to the other half, which is really cool. And then you remove that card from the deck and set it down, and you try to get the second one, and it doesn't work. You try to get the third, it doesn't work. And then when they look down on the table, they see that there are now all 3 cards are on the table, all 3 selections. If that sounds like something you want to do, this is absolutely a workable method. It's practical. You're going to be able to do it. It just doesn't fit my style. It doesn't fit my persona. I don't like to use rubber bands with cards. I like rubber band magic. I like card magic. I don't like to combine the two for some strange reason. I don't know. But if that sounds like an effect you'd like to do, then this would work great. It just doesn't fit my performance style. That's the only reason I don't like it and won't use it. And then the last effect in the book is called 6 covers 6. And again, it's sort of a principle that you could use for a ton of different effects rather than one effect. This principle is one of the fairest selection procedures, and selection procedure and then losing of the selection. The spectator cuts the deck wherever they want. Genuinely, they can cut it as high or as low as they want. They look at the card they cut to. That card, that whole half, goes right back to where it was cut from. The cards are then cut a couple of times. They're riffle shuffled by the spectator. At this point, you can spread the cards out on the table face down without ever looking at a card, and you can pull out their exact selection. You can even, Ryan presents it as a muscle reading routine by grabbing their hand and making them wave their hand over it and slowly eliminating cards until there's only one left, and then that's the selected card. It's a really, really good selection procedure, and not really a control, but still you have knowledge of where the selected card ends up after a very fair selection procedure and after they cut and shuffle the cards themselves. It's very, very good thinking. It's a magician fooler. I say this because I performed this for a magician friend, and he was very fooled by it. And don't worry, I would not tell him how it worked. So I made him buy the book. So it's really worth it. It's that good. And again, you don't have to do the muscle reading routine with it. Once you know the principle, you can apply it to your own effect that you want to use. Any effect that involves you knowing sort of information about where the selected card is in the deck. So that is False Anchors Volume 2, and I've said this before to Ryan specifically, but I don't know if I've said it in a video yet. My card magic, almost all of my impromptu card magic, is now Ryan Schlutz material. Comes from False Anchors Volume 1, now False Anchors Volume 2, and also some of Ryan's older DVDs, Effortless Effects and those sort of DVDs by Ryan. If you haven't seen these things, check them out. Volume 1, you're good luck finding it because it's sold out very, very quickly. Volume 2, currently there are still some available, but they're going to sell out very quickly as well. This material's too good. It's too good for it not to sell out. But anyway, as I said, almost all of my card magic that I perform now, when people ask me to show them something, is by Ryan Schlutz. His performance style, he has this whole technique and this thinking that allows it to be so hands-off that it seems impossible for the magician to have any manipulation abilities at all with the deck, and yet he has found a way to still give the magician control, even when it's in the spectator's hands. So if you aren't familiar with Ryan Schlutz, I highly recommend his DVDs. Definitely, if you can get False Anchors Volume 1, there's some killer material, check it out. If not, get yourself False Anchors Volume 2, there's some killer material in here as well. I highly, highly recommend you pick it up, and seriously, you better do it quickly because these will be sold out in a month's time, I believe, or even sooner than that. So check them out. There's only a limited number available. You need to get your copy now. False Anchors Volume 2 by Ryan Schlutz.